Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the third ever episode of the Clients for Creatives podcast. Today, I'm going to be actually interviewing a good friend of mine, Blaise. Blaise, thank you so much for getting on the show, and I really hope people are going to get some value out of this one. I'm sure about it. Can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
Hey everyone, Vince, thanks for having me. So to put simply, I help other people's entrepreneurs, existing coaches, consultants, high-ticket service providers to build their business with organic marketing and then later with paid client acquisition methods, mostly Facebook advertising.
Awesome. That sounds very, very exciting. So how did you actually get into doing this, if you don't mind asking? Like, just for the beginning of the podcast, I want to give people a brief, history of your journey and kind of how you got into doing what you are doing now. Because I'm pretty sure, like, you didn't really even have an idea that you can do this for a living when you were 18, 19, going into university. So yeah, can you take us through your journey, like what you were like as a kid, and kind of how your interests evolved and got you to this point where you're running like pretty significant consulting business at what, 26 you are?
Yeah, I'm 27 actually.
Okay,
dude, 27. I think this is the longest question I've ever received in my life, so I'm just gonna try my best to like kind of break it down.
But I think no worries. Like, feel free to take your time with it.
The first big question was like, what was I like as a kid, right? Something like that. To like, simply, I was always I always had a go-getter attitude. So like, whatever I find something new, I was like, wow, this is so exciting. Like, let's see what I can do with this thing. Like, whether it was like sport or, like outside of school, pretty much like anything, I like always tried my best. And I think I just took that mentality into business as well. And this is what I really believe in, like, life. That's what I enjoy mostly, to find something that excites me and then just go all in and see what is possible. And when I feel like things are not serving me anymore on this journey, then that's when I learn to let go of things and just, new things can replace the place of those things, essentially. And how I got into entrepreneurship is pretty much, I think when I was at my bachelor's, like I was 2021 or something, there was a teacher who was teaching entrepreneurship, and he came to a class and he explained the whole thing around entrepreneurship. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know this is like, it was very exciting to me. I never actually thought about becoming an entrepreneur before. And so because I had no parent, like my father is a teacher, my mother is a doctor, so no one really around me was an entrepreneur. So I didn't really know how it works. And then from there, I was like, wow, this is interesting, because then I need to solve problems. Ultimately, that's what it's all about. So I was like, I like solving problems. That's, kind of like my thing. So then from there, I ended up in the Netherlands in my master's, studying strategic management and entrepreneurship. Only to realize it's not really helping me to become an entrepreneur, if I'm being super frank. And so I kind of learned a lot of things, but I never actually, if I'm being very honest with myself, I never implemented those blueprints I've learned over there, because they were just blueprints without, like the actual technicalities of how you can implement them. And so I remember my brother recommended me listen to Gary Vaynerchuk. So I just went crazy on his podcast, like listened to every single episode every day in the gym while I was lifting weights. And it really pushed me to create my master's. So I create my master's, called a friend, and I didn't know what I was doing back then. I just called her and I was like, hey, do you want to do something together? Because she was really smart. She's like, yeah, why not? What are you thinking? I'm like, let's build a marketing agency. Because like that was the only idea in my mind. I was like, yeah, we can just run some SEO, some Facebook ads, like some Instagram, like everything, right? Like all the services. I thought it's gonna work, right? And so we spend, how it goes, like we spend a couple months, like 3-4 months, trying to build those things out. And then ultimately, after like four months, we were like, well, I think we should get some clients, maybe, no? Like we did all the planning, right? Like all the vision boards.
Yeah, the website, everything.
Dude, it was crazy. The logo, like spent 3 days on the logo and what's the name of the business. And so yeah, then when we figured we don't know how to get clients, so we like tried really hard, but people were like pretty bad at it, to be honest. So like we kind of like quit. There was like, oh, this is not working. It's too hard to quit. And then I started a bunch of other things. Like I tried becoming a fitness influencer at first, or like I wanted to be a PT/fitness influencer. And then I heard like e-commerce is hot, so like I launched an apparel product. We lost like 4,000 euro, and I would say like 4 months of time building that. And then we did Instagram automation business, like, you know, these like weird bots and like message and follow, unfollow. It was brilliant. Like got some clients for that one as well. And so, yeah, long story short, I had like a couple failed business attempts before I found social media marketing agency. And then that's what really started working for me. I bought a course from a guy called Imam and started following his processes, and then I started earning clients. So my lesson was there that like you can try it on your own, like as long as you want to, but to me the real success came once I had like a proven process. And so I needed to pay for that proven process to actually implement the whole thing.
And not even just the proven process, right? But the active like investing into kind of yourself, quote unquote. Even though it's like the most cliche thing probably that you can say nowadays, but like really it's not even about like investing into yourself, but more so that you are putting your money where your mouth is, right? And you have something on the line. Because if you pay like a lot of your money, or what's a lot of money to you at that time, for a program or a consulting offer or whatever, then you're like, all right, I need to make this shit work, otherwise I just wasted all this money. So I think that was probably also a big part of it, right? Like why things only started clicking then, because I know you even like downloaded some free courses before that. Like you used to be big on that, which I don't advocate.
Spend 2-3 hours just to find them somewhere where I can like get them for free.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You used to be that guy.
Yeah, that was me, I'm being honest. Yeah. Well, yeah, partially that was one, like that was, yeah, to pay for something and then like commit. Another aspect is like really to have the proven processes. I think it's important when you do the work, you know, it's like working to other people. And I think the third one is like we have so much information nowadays. Like it's crazy. Like you go on YouTube, you can learn anything. And this is what I keep saying. If information in itself, information was the answer to all our questions and would help us like, you know, go push through the pain and build successful businesses, then dude, like everybody would be like multi-millionaires with rock hard six-pack.
Yeah.
But it's just not happening, right? Like I can give what I teach, I can give the video formats to other people, the course, even for free, and they would get like probably no results. And what I teach, I know it's good. And then some people pay me thousands of dollars and they get results like crazy. And I think one thing is really that once you pay money for something, and I'm the same, I'm like, well, I paid for money, sunk cost. So I like have to do something with this information. I have to execute on this process that's laid out for me. And then I have no time to watch YouTube. Like it's really like, if I'm watching something, it's the actual process I paid for. So like I cancel out everything else. So really not watching anything else. And my mind is like not shattered in a way that I like getting distracted informations from all kind of sources. It's more like one process I'm following. That's what I found to be like super helpful to me.
Okay, so you bought the agency course, you started up the social media agency, you got some clients with that, and then how did you end up transitioning from that into more like a business coaching or consulting that you are focusing on mainly now?
I see. Yeah. So first, I think it's an important part because maybe there are people watching who are not native English. They're coming from other countries. Yeah. And I always hear those people, it's harder for them because they just don't know whether they do it in their own language or English, or, you know, it's always confusing. And so I started on my own language. I'm from Hungary, so I started in Hungarian, like helping Hungarian clients. And
just like me.
Yeah. And I grow that agency to like $5,000-6,000 per month, which is a lot of money in Hungary. It's like a fair amount of money in Hungary. And then I remember like you guys kept telling me that I should try like the international markets, right? Like you, my brother, all the people around me. But I was like, I don't know. I had this insecurity. I'm maybe not good enough. My English is maybe not good enough. And so that kept me where I was, right? And then in 2020, I finally gave in and I started going after clients in English, and I landed a client, and that client paid us over 70,000 US dollar in customer lifetime value. In 1 month, they paid like over 40K. So lesson learned, like don't let those limiting beliefs hold you back. Just give it a try. Like what's the worst thing that can happen? Like imagine if I was still like just, you know, doing that in the Hungarian market. I don't think I would be where I am right now. And so that was
definitely not.
That was the first thing. And then the second was that as I was running these ads to people, like we had clients who were bringing in 6-figure a month. So it's like over $100,000 per month. Some of them like 20, 30K, 50K. And we were building marketing funnels, email marketing, a lot of automations. We were running Facebook ads. And one of the biggest things I've learned is that none of them had their business like kind of fully figured out. So I always felt like whoever is like making like 100K a month, they have like everything, you know, like laid out, like they're just like it's the perfect system. And in reality, there were always a couple of things I spotted and we could improve. So that's what I started thinking about. If that's the case, right? And I'm super passionate about like finding these things and learning about these things. I was coaching my clients already, right? And they were appreciating it, the support, the help. I was sending these videos to them. So that's when I realized maybe I should like triple down on like, you know, actual coaching as opposed to like running Facebook ads for other people, especially because I found that it's really not easy to find those clients and engage with those clients, like the ones that actually need Facebook ad help, because they're usually already doing very well. So they don't really have a reason to talk to you. And so that's what I found, like to having this is kind of like a front end offer, right? I still passionate about running those ads to specific people. You're being in a specific, with, you know, certain criterias. But in order to have more of those people as clients, I should kind of do this. So like I get a lot of people in here, help these people, and some of them would be, you know, would just like grow into the other offer as well. So this is how I have my businesses combined right now.
Okay, makes sense.
That's the vision.
Okay.
For the next couple of years at least.
Yeah, and just to like sum up everything about kind of the whole journey, because obviously it's not enough time to go over like all the different details. I'm sure Blaise has some content about that on his channel as well, going more in depth into his journey, or if he doesn't, then he should.
Then I should but hit me up what you want to see.
Yeah, but basically one thing I can tell you guys about him is that he is one like intense motherfucker. He's like he strives, I think, of competition. Maybe not as much now as he used to, but like just to like let people know a bit more about your hobbies or the things you were interested in before. Like you used to ride BMX like all day long. Basically, you got really good at that. You used to do bodybuilding and go to competition. I don't know if you used to do competitions with BMX, but I bet you
did. Yeah, I was like semi-pro.
And then,
breaking bones and everything.
And then you started like surfing recently as well, right? So I'm quite sure you're gonna be competing in that as well in a few years. I'm
trying not to really. I'm trying just to enjoy things now.
But even when Blaise started getting more into mindfulness and meditation, like he used to make a competition out of that as well. Like he was tracking all the minutes meditated and like showing us his results and everything. So just so you guys get a bit of context about the type of person I think you are. I mean, I don't want to label you, but like people might be wondering like how you actually got the information on how to, you know, run ads and deliver these results for people. Like you are the kind of person who once you get interested in something, you get like pretty obsessed, right? Like you just hyper focus on things and you really enjoy progress. And I think everybody does, but I think some people are get even more rewarded by that. So they end up doing more of that. So that's probably how you got like really good at running ads in like what, a year or so?
Yeah, I would say a year. Yeah, give or take.
Awesome. So
your question is what I feel like is a secret behind these things, like learning skills fast, or?
I didn't really ask that question. I just
Okay.
wanted to give some more context. But I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would love to hear, like, if you had just a couple, let's say you want to start, let's just put yourself in the shoes of the younger you who just wanted to start their first agency, for example.
Mhm.
Like, first, I think we both agree that even though everybody says like, oh, you can just straight up outsource the work and you don't even have to know what you're doing, like, I think we can both agree that's kind of just what the gurus tell you to buy their
Have you
agency
ever met
course.
someone, sorry, have you ever met someone in this agency space who are like legit like growing their agency? They have like no clue how to like run the ads and the funnels, and they're like, yeah, just sell, bro. Like I hired
No,
all the
never. Or even with
me
like
neither.
creative
Maybe they
agency.
are. There are people out there, but I never.
Yeah, I mean,
I've met a guy.
yeah.
He was like, I'm making a couple thousand with this. He was just starting and he didn't really know how to like run the ads. He got a freelancer, and I spoke to him like a year later, and he was already making like 15K plus. And he told me like, bro, I learned them. So like, yeah, no wonder. Yeah, you
Yeah,
actually learned them.
and to be honest, like, people on Instagram ask me about, there is this thing people call it now, like drop servicing, where you drop ship services. You
I heard
create
of
like a
that. Yeah.
website and you don't even have to know how to deliver the service. But I just think, like, yeah, it might be working for some people. I think for the majority of people, like, you cannot build a real business unless you understand the actual product you're selling and you know how to also deliver it for yourself. Let's say if someone was just starting their first, even if they just want to get clients for themselves and just, deliver the results themselves or start an agency, but the point is they have to learn a new skill that is valuable on the marketplace, where they can get tangible results for their clients. Like, how would you go about learning a brand new skill from scratch in, a few months, let's say in under 3 months of time? Like, what
Perfect.
would be your process that you would take, if you had to learn, for example, like, I don't know, even if with any skill, I think this would be an applicable process. Like, if I wanted to learn cooking like really well, or if I wanted to learn copywriting really well, or whatever, like, how would you go about learning a new skill set, whether that be advertising or creative stuff or sales or whatever it might be?
Okay. So the first thing I would do is I would assess what resources I have. Time, money, like what can I actually allocate to learn? Because the easiest and the shortest way to learn a skill is really just to like supplement your time investment with money. Like that's the best combination. So if you can afford getting a course, get a course. If you can afford getting higher level help, meaning a coaching program, a group coaching program, maybe a one-on-one mentor who can like help me through the way, just do that. And when people think about it, like even if it's not business, let's say you just want to learn English. I actually did that, right? I can watch YouTube videos learning English. I can actually pay like $50 or $100 for a course to learn English, or I can pay someone like 30, $40 per hour to sit there with me and teach me English. Like I choose the last one, right? Because I had 30, $40 per hour to do that. So I was like, I'm not gonna watch YouTube videos. I'm not gonna do the courses. I just go for the easiest. I just want to go the easiest way possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's to have someone sit with you and point out where you are like messing up things. And so my step-by-step process is really just like assess your resources, be thoughtful about what you can and cannot afford, and then reverse engineer from there. What is it that you can buy? What makes sense for you? If you have zero money whatsoever, that's totally okay. But just be mindful about it so you're not stressing out if it's not working, because you have to put in a lot of effort and time to learn those because you can't afford help, right? That's my take on the whole thing. And then this being said, I think I just said it. Like to me that now the way I acquire a skill, let's say I want to get better at selling, or I want to get better at appointment setting, or whatever area in my business I want to get better at, I just pay like a couple $1,000 for someone to teach me how to do that, like a coaching program or one-on-one coach. That's my way to go about things, because I don't really have a lot of time, to be honest. Like when I learn, that feels like work to me, and so I would rather just spend money, learn a bit faster, and then just enjoy life, go surf or whatever. That's my take on it.
Okay.
I
So
don't know
that
if
is,
it helps.
yeah, I think that made total sense to me. And I think when it comes to like starting a whole new business, it's unfortunately not just a matter of getting the skill sets, because there are a ton of people who are skilled at a bunch of different things. It's also like, I think Alex Hormoz.
Just one second.
Yeah, one sec. All right, guys. Sorry for this quick pause. I think Blaise is like cleaning lady or
Yeah,
something
the
like that.
cleaning lady wanted to
Maybe.
Hoover here. I'm like, maybe this is not the best time to
Yeah.
do it.
Anyways, yeah. So what I was gonna say is, when someone's starting a new business, I think unfortunately it's not just about learning the skill sets. I think Alex Hormozy puts it like the best way, or the way that made the most sense to me. It's your skills, your character traits, and your beliefs. So now that I kind of like understand how you would go about acquiring a new skill set, how would you go about acquiring your new beliefs that would serve you to achieve whatever you are trying to achieve? And how would you go about acquiring the character traits? Because Blaise and I have discussed this like plenty of times, about how you can build out habits and kind of become the person who is able to do those sort of daily routines repeatedly for a long period of time that yield you the outcome that you are trying to achieve, whatever that might be. Like if you're trying to build, your body, then you need to have the character trait of going to the gym and eating the right food and sleeping enough, right? If you are trying to make more money, you need to learn how you can stay consistent with your outreach, stay learning and improving and creating your offer, and all those things. So beliefs and character traits, or habits, how do you go about acquiring new ones? Feel free to take a couple seconds to think about it.
Yeah, I'm actually
But
thinking very
yeah,
hard because this is a topic we've been going like in circles for a long time now.
yeah,
I can first tell you how I did it, and then I can tell you like what I think would be maybe more
yeah,
beneficial.
for sure. Maybe
And
just
then,
go about like how you went about it, how you built out your work ethic and your mindset. And also maybe once you went through it, like you can think what advice you would give to your younger self to maybe speed up the process. But hey, maybe there isn't like, maybe it's not always the best to try to speed up the process.
yeah,
Maybe you
actually,
do need the
yeah.
time to struggle with it for a long time. So yeah, just maybe take us through like how you got to this point where your mindset is not really holding you back that much. I mean, it always is, because
At
you're
my
not
own
conscious.
level, it does, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, you're not conscious of it, but at least you are, stuck, quote unquote, at a higher
I
level
can tell
than
you, I
you
can
were
tell you straight
before,
away.
right?
I'm overthinking overnight, analyzing things, and this year I'm working on not to over communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I just know these are the things I need to work on, and I'm still messing that up all the time. And I'm like, Blaise, stop it! Like it's just too much. Because mine is too analytical. It's just very analytical.
Mm-hmm.
That's what enables me to create like good processes and systems and course videos and stuff like that. And people are like, wow, this is so detailed. To me, it's not so detailed. It's just doing like I just put in the stuff I know, right? But
Yeah.
then sometimes I'm just like, should I do this? Should I do that? And someone from the outside is like, bro, just do something. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. You're like sitting here thinking about this and like, actually true. So this being said, that's the number one thing I think I would change. Like I would really start. I didn't know, so I couldn't really. But I wish someone else, if I hired someone, a mentor, probably he or she would have told me that's what I'm dealing with, so I can like tackle that a bit earlier. Would have helped me a ton. So again, it comes back to like having someone help you one on one. And when I say a mentor, like I think we have to define what it really means, because all the people say like I have a mentor. People buy courses from other people and they say it's a mentor. Like to be honest, you only have a mentor if you have calls like this with your mentor. And you can explain, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what I'm struggling with, this is what I tried, this is why it's not working for me. This like like proper one-on-one support. That's a mentor. Like if it's a group coaching, it's not a mentor. It's a course in a group. Those things are not qualified as that.
I
And
mean,
so
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I think you can make a distinction between, like, you can still have someone, I think, as a mentor who you are not talking to on a regular basis, but who you learn a lot from. And I think you can still call that mentorship. Like I might learn,
maybe I'm wrong with the
lessons from
definition.
someone who's a lot further ahead of me in a certain area. And if I watch their videos and learn from them, I think that's still like, I can look at that person as a mentor of mine. But the distinction, I think, really is having someone mentoring you versus just like having a mentor, right? Because
Having someone mentoring you or having their content mentoring you.
Yeah, exactly. Like when
You
you
know
have
what I
someone
mean? Like,
mentoring you, that's like where you get the meat and potatoes really, and
yeah.
you see real progress because it's personalized, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, sorry, feel feel free
No,
to.
no, no, no. I agree. I agree. Maybe I was just like too like, I'm not sure about the definition. Let's be honest.
It's not
Um,
that clear, probably. I mean,
yeah,
I might be
probably
wrong
not.
as well. Yeah.
And so, given the fact that we also do mentor people and like we are like, whatever, like this is what I believe in. This is how I structure things. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
like, like super, yeah. Anyways, so mindset and habits, to me, it was in the beginning when I bought a course for $1,000, right? That's when I had like a lot of mindset things and habits, and I was like, I just need to do this. This is like genius. So I started doing all of them. It's gotten to the point where I had like a 3-hour long morning routine. Some of my friends were saying, maybe that's not the most effective way to start your day. But I was like, yeah, shut up, dude. Like this is my habits and my mindset. So what do you know? And yeah, like they were right. Like I cut it down to like much shorter. But I believe you have to try things to know what's working and what's not. Like it's a constant process of like trying things out. Because if you don't know, if you don't try, you don't know.
Yeah, and going to the extremes in all areas of life,
This
right?
is what I believe in. Like you push to all extremes. And people talk about work-life balance. I think the way to find work-life balance is to get really close to like burning out, and then to get also really close to like doing nothing, like zero, like being really lazy.
Yeah.
And so then you can like kind of find, the spectrum where you want to fall. And for all the people out there, when it comes to like mindset and habits, I would say like again, like get a mentor, because like these are specific things. You can watch all the videos on YouTube, but I have friends, they are watching all those videos. You just like watch all those videos, and I'm like, okay, great. So what is it that you do from these? And I'm like, not much. I'm like, do you meditate? Yeah, I try. Like, I don't know. Well, when was the last time you meditated? Like a month ago. I'm like, okay, so you don't meditate, right? And I was like, not really. So like the thing is, when you have someone taking care of you, right, they're gonna call you out on these things. And that comes back to like accountability. Like if I was to mentor someone and he would give me a list of like, okay, Blaise, so these are the 15 things I've collected from YouTube videos I want to do as like habits and mindset. I'd be like, okay, bro, like let's do this too, like effectively, like for like 60 days in a row, and then you can add an extra, right? As opposed to like trying all 15 and then like nothing's gonna like stick. So I think I answered like, to me, it's like one thing at a time, focus on one thing at a time, try it out, like give your best effort. It's not like you go to the gym and then like 3 days later, it's like, it's not working, like, where's my muscles? So it's like, you have to like be like, you have to have that consistency to draw a conclusion and then move on. You try it, 60 days, yes, no. No is a good answer as well. Yes, no, is it working for me? Is it for me or no? If it's no, let it go. The other one. If it's yes, stick with that, and then try to like put in another one. This is my way of doing things.
Okay, so that was like that's like the fastest way you could go about it. But I mean, even before you had your first mentor, like did you manage to make progress in staying more consistent and being able to do more work, or only after you invested
to be honest,
money
I don't
into
think
Hub?
so. If I'm being really honest to myself, the only thing I did before investing into myself is tracking the amount of time I spent working. Like, can I actually work more man hours? And that was working because I'm like, again, like what gets measured gets done. So I was working more, but I was just finding more work. I was not making more. Like people work. I don't care what people say. We do work to make money. And the reason for that is this how economy works. And when you do work and the more you make, the more value you create in other people's life if you do it correctly, right? And so if you're not generating more, but you are working more, you are definitely doing something wrong, right? Maybe you're just not there yet. Maybe you are just, have some missing puzzle pieces, but that's something to be admitted and be aware of. So I was working more hours. I was not making more money, right? I was just like stressing more, sacrificing things. I didn't actually want to sacrifice that much. That could have been an easy route, but this is the one I took. And then once I bought a course, that's when I learned, I visualized who I want to become. I wrote it down. Okay, so this is the guy I want to become. This is what I want to achieve. And from there on, it was much easier because first time in my life, I knew what I want. Even if you think about it, like if you were just sitting, I'm like, okay, let's go. That you want to go somewhere, right? But if you don't put it into GPS, like how are you gonna get there? It's gonna be like clueless, going all over the place. So It's just you have to like put in the destination into the GPS so you can like kind of start driving towards that destination. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, makes sense. One question I have, and because people who are listening to this probably are, or maybe a couple of them are thinking like, you and I are probably really biased in that, you know, you're telling everyone to buy a course and buy that because you also do that for a living. Like you sell, you know, IP, you sell intellectual property, you do mentorship, that sort of stuff. So why do you think personally that kind of this whole sphere of courses and consulting, like why do you think it gets a bad rep? And why do you think the general public has or a lot of them have a negative idea about the industry as a whole? Because I think if you go and ask like, you know, 100 people about it, like a lot of them are going to be like, oh yeah, that's a scam, you know, it doesn't work, it's just people
Did you
ripping
also
people off.
did you also thought it's like a scam in the beginning? Because I did the same.
I honestly had that in my mind, but personally, I think I got introduced to this word at such a young age that my mind wasn't really closed to it yet. Like I haven't really been brainwashed yet by society as much because I got into it at like 14, 15. So I was already like, okay, I mean, if this person is, you know, more ahead in life in that certain area, I'm going to be open to what they have to say, and I'm just going to do what they have to say because I don't know shit. So even when I bought my first course, I never thought like, even if I didn't get immediate results, I was never like, you know, oh my God, this was such a scam, it doesn't work. I was like, okay, like, let me think about what I'm doing wrong and how I could improve. And then like, there is no way, if you just keep improving yourself and like taking accountability as well, not putting all the accountability kind of on the course creator or teacher, then you will eventually succeed, because it's like impossible. The only question I think on how you determine how good a program is or not is like whether it actually speeds up the process or not, and like how helpful the, like it's really difficult to determine how good a program is aside from the actual student results, because you know there are so many variables in it. But anyways, I'm getting on a tangent. Like
no, but
I would
this is important things you are mentioning, I feel like.
Yeah, but to get back to your question, like why do you think that is the case, that a lot of people have this negative idea about it and think it's a scam or whatever? Because you said you thought that in the beginning as well.
Yeah.
So what made you change your mind?
Yeah. So I was thinking, if I'm being really honest, I was thinking it's a massive scheme because like the way I was thinking, why on earth would I pay $1,000 for a course or $8,000 on a you know, I actually paid, like last time I paid like $12,000 on a mastermind program. Why would I do that if I can just like go, I don't know, Google things and then ask from people, and I'm just gonna get there anyways, right? And the thing is that this is what I believed, and so I'm like, I can download them online for free, so why would I pay for it? And then all that kind of things. But what I didn't know, because I've never experienced it, is that the things we mentioned in the beginning, like once you pay for something, then you pay attention, right? So I was like, once I paid for the things, I was watching those videos in a different way, or using the information in a different way, or having more accountability, or having more excitement about what I was doing. And so this is something I think you can only experience once you do the actual thing. So it's like, there's not really a way around it. And then I think also there is kind of like this jealousy at the end of the day, like more and more people are doing these things, and like more and more people are talking, you know, shit on other people. And so it's like, oh, he's a scam, he's a scam, he's a scam, as opposed to just like, no, I don't feel like no one is really like a scam, maybe a couple people, you know, but ultimately everybody just wants to do good. And so yes, there are a lot of business coaches out there. Yes, there are a lot of these people. But ultimately, I think what you have to find someone you trust, and that's it. It doesn't need to be a biggest guy out there. It doesn't need to be whatever. Just find one guy, seems believable, he's done it before you, you trust the guy, and just kind of lean in. Talk to the guy
you resonate with, right?
Yeah, just have an open mind, talk to the guy, and then that's it. Like, and then obviously, like, try your best. Like, once you paid, like, try your best, don't just sit around. But that's what I think. I think that's where the skepticism is stemming from. Also, I do understand, like, when you don't have a lot of money, it's really hard to put your money towards these things. But one thing I would say is that, because I've been there too, and I just spend my money on other things. And like, no one is really like, if your goal is to make money, right? If you want to make more money online, most people just want to do that. No, not too many people. Like, I'm good to do that. I don't want to make more, right? If that's your goal, maybe, only maybe, it would make sense to put your money into something that has a potential to give you more. And when I say that, I'm not talking about, NFTs and crypto and all that kind of things. I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying, if you want to grow into the person who can generate money, then you have to have the knowledge to be there. And in my specific case, what I teach is like selling high ticket services. Well, you won't be able to do that unless you know how to talk to people, so they want to book in an appointment with you, and then how to talk to people on the Zoom calls or phone calls or whatever, so they give you their money. There's no way around that. You won't be able to hire people to do that for you, because you won't be able to train those people. There's no way around that. Once you learn them from someone and you get really good at that, you can grow this business. I can find money wherever I feel like I need really money. Like, if someone would be sick in my family, I would need more money, I know what to do to find more money. Like, I just know what to do. And so once you know those skills, then it's easier to like start building the processes and the systems around it, and like hiring people and stuff like that. But again, I think if you want to make more money, pay for information that has a probability of making you more money.
Yeah, definitely.
Find someone believable to you.
Yeah, and I think
if you know something that's better than this when it comes to like making money, drop in a comment and I will check it out. Like, I've never ever in my life found something that yields me higher returns than this. So this is why I, and I think Vince would agree, and this is my journey. I was skeptical, right? Pain. I had I was trying more pain, and I had a pain threshold. Like, after I was like, I can't continue going like this. I just need to try something. And that's when I dropped $1,000 or whatever it was, like I think 700 on that thing, and it worked out. So then the next time I dropped $1,500 and it worked again. I was like, oh my God. And then I dropped like a 5,000 on a mentor for like 4 hours of, just talking to me. And that worked too. And then another 5K and then 12K. And now I just invested another 12K to help people hire me. It's just once you see what's possible, you just going down this route. And then obviously, if to this date, if this is the biggest thing that changed my life, and I really find this to be important. Like, if it's the biggest thing that changed my life, obviously I want to do the same. Why would I do anything else if this is what I believe in? I believe in this. So obviously I start like whatever I've learned, repackage, find some people I can help with this, what I know, and then just like help them through this journey. This is what I believe in. This is what I'm doing. This is what I do.
Yeah. And one thing I would add to that, I think, is if you are trying to build a service-based business or an information-based business online where there's no like physical, tangible product, I think it's really hard for people. Like, that's also one thing I think that makes people skeptical. It's hard to wrap your mind around the fact that you are not getting anything tangible, quote unquote, like physical. Like, it's not like you are paying $1,000 and you get this object that you can actually touch and feel and like feel the weight of it and like use it for whatever. Like, it's not really a physical thing. It's basically knowledge or information. So it's hard to wrap your mind around that. But if you're trying to build something where you are selling also your services or information, then how do you want to sell something like that if you have never bought anything like that? Because you will unconsciously,
that's like another thing.
That's like subconsciously you will sabotage yourself from being able to sell even your video services or your editing services for a high ticket fee if you never bought anything that's not a physical object for a higher price.
Dude,
or at least that's been the case with me, massive. Right? Like, I only started being able to sell like services for 3-5K once I actually bought services for 3-5K. Because then this mental block that you have in your mind that like, oh, that's a lot of money for something I cannot physically touch, like that just kind of goes away once you have made the jump and made a purchase
Yeah.
like that.
I
And
mean,
also, yeah,
literally, sorry to cut you off. Like, I think that's huge. I just wanted to jump in. I think literally, if you're like trying to sell something for 5K, let's say, or 3K, you never actually did that. You're asking the guy on the video to do something you would not do.
yeah,
Just let it sit for a second. It would be like, it's insane. It would be like dating, right? You would be out with your friend. You never approach the girl on the street. You know, amazing girls everywhere. You never approach, and you would tell your friend, bro, I show you how to approach this girl. Do it. And he would be like, oh, no, man, I'm scared. Yeah, dude, just do it. And then you deep down, you don't know how to do that, so you won't be able to help your friend because he was like, okay, yeah, maybe you do it first. And I was like, no, I'm just, you do it. And then you're like, and it's this awkward conversation, and both of you sitting there, and he's throwing all the objections at you. He's like, I don't know, dude, it's a lot of money. And then you know what you have to say based on the script, right? But deep down you're like, yeah, it's actually a lot of money. Fuck, I need to get this. And then that's how you feel from the inside. To me, when people is like, it's a lot of money, I was like, it's easy, bro. It's only a question of perspective. Yes, it's, you know, fair amount of money, but, and then they feel the confidence in my voice. I'm leading them. It's like, don't let this step in your, because I know the journey. I've seen the things. So I just try to like lead them through the whole thing. What are you thinking? Why do you think it's a lot of money? What you told me you want to do X, Y, Z, right? Do you think you can get that for less amount of money? If yes, what are those things? Make them realize it's probably not the way around it. They just have to jump or stay where they are.
Yeah, definitely. And just to finish off the point at why I think a lot of people are skeptical about the online education industry or self-education industry as a whole, I think is a big part of it is that there are a lot of people who might not be like straight up scamming people where they take their money and don't deliver anything, but they do no vetting. And I think that's a huge thing. Like that's the biggest thing for me that differentiates someone who's like actually like morals wise like a decent human being and someone who's just like there to take your money. Like if you're trying to buy something expensive and they don't get on a call with you, or at least a person in their team to get on a call with you to see if the product that they have is actually something that you need, then and they just like straight up take your money, whatever, then I don't really like that. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of people don't get results with that, because there are a lot of people out there, and probably some of the biggest ones actually, who just take your money no matter what. And I think the better way to go about it is to actually only take on people into your program, even if you're selling your own services, who the actual product you're selling or service you're selling is actually something they need, right? Because then you don't have to feel bad about yourself as well if you're not a psychopath or a sociopath and you have like emotions. Like if you sell something that people actually need or that person actually needs, you won't feel bad about it. And also then I think this whole just general like stigma around this industry and online business as a whole can slowly start going away as there is more vetting and just more I don't know, just realness in the industry, I would say.
Yeah, dude, I agree 110%. I also wanted to add, I think another big thing is that people, they watch a couple videos, they learn something, and then they reteach without trying it. That's the problem. Like if you watch something from, let's say Vince, you join my program and you learn something from me in sales, right? And you close a couple of clients using that technique, and then a week later you start teaching it, good, right? Because you know how it works. But if you just like watch my videos and then you re-record the whole thing without you trying to implement it, I think that's a problem. That's a problem in the industry. And like I really believe only teach what you've tried before. Like even in my program, like right now I'm about to do a lot of Instagram shoutouts. And one of the guys were like, do like, you know, like what about the Instagram shoutouts, you know, part of the program? I'm like, dude, I'm working on it. I'm doing it right now. I want to make sure the content I'm put out, I'm trying it out first for you guys. So you guys are only trying things that are working or things I know. And so many people, they're like, oh my God, what are you going to think about me if I don't have that in my portal? Guess what? Nothing. He was like, oh, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me know once it's done.
Yeah.
Right. And in my mind I was like, oh, what are they gonna think if I don't have this? They think nothing. They just yeah. And they appreciate honesty. I'm like, dude, I don't want to show something that I don't know how. I just need to do it first, and then I show you.
Yeah, and this applies to not only people who sell education or information, but also if you're a service provider. Like a lot of people on my channel are people who are creatives and want to start like selling their services at high ticket prices, right? Like even then, if you have enough, if you haven't even learned the skill set you're trying to sell, like you're gonna have a hard time. And about the getting results for the client part, like yeah, maybe your first client is not going to be super high ticket. Maybe you should just get a couple smaller ones, or even do some free work in the beginning, validate the fact that you have skill sets that can get the client's results, and then once you have some testimonials and previous client results, it's going to get 100 times easier to sell to the next person, because not only because they have proof that what you know how to do actually works, but only you personally have proof. And once you actually believe and not just believe, but once you know that what you have to sell actually works, then it becomes a hell of a lot easier to convince other people. Because if you haven't convinced yourself even, then how do you expect other people not to sense that? Like, I believe that
I agree. Like,
yeah,
just to give example, because I love examples. I've been bombarded by messaging. Two of the biggest things out there right now is like people message me and they're like, "Hey, do you want appointment setters?" Like, and then they send me this long of a message. And I'm like, is this really working? I know it's not working. So why are you like sending? You don't know how to set appointments, and you try to set up. It's just so like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's clear that the guy doesn't know how to set appointments, and he's trying to set appointments setting.
Yeah,
It's just,
and you have to
or
start
like Instagram
somewhere.
content.
Like, don't get
They're
me
like,
wrong.
yeah, Instagram content, right? Like, it's like, and then they don't have anything on their Instagram.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, I do. The thing is, at least what you do, you kind of have to like try it out and test it. Now, when it comes to Facebook advertising, for example, a lot of people say, oh yeah, sure. So what should I do? Start running my own Facebook ads? No. With Facebook ads, you have to like learn how to do that and then sell it at a cheaper price in the beginning, and have some kind of like promise to other people to trust you with that, right? And then you deliver results, and then you use those as testimonials. Like,
yeah, and even same with any other service, like
yeah,
even creative services or social media management. Like, yeah, you can just do like a cheaper work or free work in the beginning,
yeah.
and build your skill sets up that way.
And
There's no shame in that,
I think one thing I would say is, even like in my previous examples, if you are like trying to sell appointment setting services or content creation, like I would, if I knew I don't know how to set appointments properly, I would reach out in a different way. I would be brutally honest, like, hey, I'm Tom. I've been following your content for a while. I would love to work with you. I have some skills in appointment setting. I've actually bought a course for $76, and I'm really trying to get better at this thing. Would you consider, engaging with me to see if, there is some work I can do for you, right? Or something like that. People would react so much better for an honest, like, and that's what I did in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Don't try to act like you're like, have a big whatever business if you don't have. Same with Instagram content. It's like, hey, I've just learned this. I'm just getting started. I'm looking to get clients. I'm super passionate. I have this course or this mentor I'm learning from, and I'm just trying my best and looking for my first few clients to get insane results for. Yeah, I think that was my leverage in the beginning. In the beginning, when I was in sales course, people were like, why would I hire you, not that guy? I'm like, that guy doesn't really care that much. Me, this is all I care about, because I'm just getting started. I would, if I don't know something, I would learn it for you. I would spend days and days to learn those things for you. And they knew I mean it. So they just hired me. They're like, okay, this Blaise is kind of crazy. Let's just give him a try. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we teach this in Clients for Creative as well with Greg. Like, you need to flip the script. When people ask you, like, why should I hire you if you have no experience? You can flip it to your advantage by saying, like, look, you will be my one and only client. So it's in my best interest to get you as good of a result as I possibly can, and put in 200% effort. So you will tell other people also about, the results we got for you. And I will be able to show other potential clients that, look what we did for this person, right? So there is a way to flip that script. And I think
it's so true.
That's the best way to go.
dude, it's so, even if you think about it, like I'm trying my best to care about my clients, but the more people, it's just impossible. The more people I'm working with, I just don't have all that attention. I'm really want to, but it's just impossible. And so I'm never gonna give that much attention to anyone when I had my first clients. Like it's just not gonna happen. It's not realistic, right? And so I think that's a big leverage in the beginning when you're like, look, I have all this attention, all this energy, all this passion to do something, and then you can use it as a selling point. No one is really gonna do that. You're gonna go over and beyond. Are you gonna be the best? No, but that's already crystal clear. So, you know,
Totally agree. Awesome.
if you want, and if they want to
Yep.
hire the best, they have to pay like astronomical fees. That's what I
Yep.
do that. So they're like, oh, you're not that good. I'm like, well, yeah, if you want, you know, a really great guy to be in your funnel, it would be like $36,000 or something. Actually, like research how much it, because they were like, I'm like, yeah, but I can do it for like 1,500 and try my best, and it's gonna be 80% as good probably, because I know their systems and I have their training, and I'm just gonna follow that for you on my
Yeah,
own.
like learn the market as well, and learn the logistics of how your industry works, and learn the details. And then once you can speak the language of the market you are trying to serve, then people will take you a lot more seriously as well. So yeah, awesome. I think we had like a great discussion overall about online education and self-education as a whole, and hope you probably a lot of you guys were able to take some, you know, tidbits from this, and maybe apply it for your own you know, business attempts, or just your journey in general as well. But before we end off this episode, I wanted to ask a couple more quick questions, if that's okay with you. So
absolutely.
first one is, what is like, I know you are really good at sales, and that's one of the main things that, you know, you focused on for the past years as well. So for all the people out there in the audience who are just trying to get their first like couple clients, what do you think are like the biggest sales mistakes that beginners make, and how would you kind of correct them? Like, it doesn't have to be super detailed. I know that's the ideal, but if people want that, they can go on your channel and consume more of, you know, yours and I content.
I have content around it. I have like a free playlist. Maybe we can put it somewhere here. I don't know.
Definitely. I will leave the link in the description for your channel, but just a couple of the most obvious ones that you think a lot of people are making.
Not being honest. I just stalled. Not being honest, right? Because the thing is, when you are honest, you can protect whatever position you are holding. You have to think about sales as a chess game, right? So if you are not authentic, you try to play some weird game you don't fully know how to play. As soon as they call you out, you lose the game, like because you're bluffing, and they're just gonna be like, and they feel it. They're not stupid, right?
Yeah, you can't play House of Cards. Like, you can't be all the, you know, card house or whatever it's called in English. And
so
sales.
what you say, you have
a little bit of wind is going to blow your whole you know, building away.
Yeah. I had the last time I was in a sales call with like really high-end program, and in the beginning the guy was recording the call. I was like, dude, great, you record the call, can you send it over to me at the end of the call? He's like, yeah, easy. And at the end of the call, I'm like, dude, actually, because I was not buying, I'm like, I'm interested, follow up with me, send me over this call. And he was like, oh, I actually have to ask from the owner of the program. I'm like, dude, you're not telling the truth now. You told in the beginning, no problem, you can send it to me. Now you have to check in with him. And he was like, I saw it, he's like, oh, I guess we are both confused, man. Because I told him, because he told me I'm confused as well, because I came that I need help, and then he was pushing the sales and I didn't buy. Because he was using the techniques I was aware of. And I was like, bro, I'm not confused. You are confused on this one now. And he just lost me because he was not authentic. If he were to say, well, we are recording these calls for training purposes, and before I send it to you, I have to ask the guy, I would have had no problem. So this is a really good example. It's really fresh. So again, like, be authentic, be real. It's the first one. The second one is really, we already covered. So you can like go back and rewatch. I think that you would benefit a lot. You know, if you want to sell something for $50, buy something for $50, right? Or whatever the price you're doing. So that's another one. And the third one, I would say, is to listen. I think that's one of the biggest one. I watched back calls and I've taken notes, and my biggest one was always shut up, don't talk that much, Blaise, and listen to them. And till this day, I'm still having these. Like I watch back calls and I even analyze, because in my program, I teach other people how to sell. So they submit their calls and be together as a group environment. We watch back the call and take notes and analyze them, how they could close them. And in many cases, we just don't listen to each other as humans, because we really think about, oh, what should be the next question? How am I gonna get to flip this around? How should I close this guy? How should I handle the objections? And they give to you all that information you can use to have those. And so that's my third one. Really listen to other people. And I think what I even want to give an extra help, like what helped me to listen better is really meditation. If you look into the research and the science of how it works, it's proven that it really helps to like create more empathy and you know, you can listen better to other people. And ever since then, I'm like closing at a higher rate. So I think it's safe to say that it helped me in, you know, so many areas of my life.
Awesome. Yeah, I think those are all really, really good pieces of advice for sales. The next question I have is, who are your, like, I mean, we can use the number 3, but whatever. Who are like your biggest inspirations, if you have any? Like, who are some of the people you now currently kind of look up to in certain areas of life, or people whose content you really enjoy watching or just learning from in general? Like people who push you forward kind of on a day-to-day basis.
It's a really good question, because I never really had like strong role models in a way that I think I feel like I have a unique personality, and when I compare, kind of, because having a role model coming from comparing yourself to someone else, and they are further along the journey, so they always want to kind of like, you know, close the gap and be like them, kind of. So I never really had that, because as soon as I started comparing myself to someone else in one area, I realized that, you know, in other areas they are kind of behind, if I am allowed to say that, right? And so because of that, I never actually had these role models. But if I have to pick a couple names, I think my biggest inspiration is, to this date, is my meditation master, Danish. He's from Hungary. Like I've seen many things in this life so far. Like I've had mentors and so many people help me, but no one has ever listened to me to that extent. And he helped me in all areas of my life, not just in like one specific skill. So he's my biggest inspiration. Also my mom, because for the same reason, she's really into self-development. She's like so strong, like she has like a really go-getter mindset, and at the same time she's a good example of living a balanced life. She's usually in balance. She's like a stone, right? She's always here for us. And then I really appreciate the help I got from Gary Vaynerchuk in the beginning. He really like helped me to push to become, you know, like to work harder, and I needed that in the beginning, really, until the point when it was not really like benefiting me anymore. I also look up to, and I thanks for Sam Owens for everything he did, like putting out his course. Like he's the most analytical mind I've ever seen. So I like in that area, I look up to him. Like he's really cabled everything together for us. I love Sabri Subi. I really like Sabri Subi. If you guys are like, check him out. Definitely. He's great when it comes to like communication, sales, marketing. He's like an overall really funny dude. Alex Hormozy, also, I really like his content. And I think that wraps it up pretty well. Like the people
Awesome.
Yeah. And I also look up for my friends like you, Vince, and for seriously, like you, Eunice, and all, you know, the group of people I'm hanging out with, my best friends. And the reason is that, like, I've never imagined there is so much quote unquote love in like a close community of brotherhood. And yeah, I look up for you guys for like, we are keeping this fire alive all the time and like taking care of each other. I think that's a big one. I think that's a very important thing to me in my life.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And the respect is definitely mutual. And last question I wanted to ask, and this is kind of I guess more of a selfish question, because I'm personally very interested in this. So I just today actually, and the past few days, I've been thinking a lot about this. How, you know what, there are just some people who it looks like they are literally channeling kind of God's power or whatever
Mhm.
into their craft, and they are really in their zone. And yeah, they are just channeling this higher energy. Like it just doesn't seem human the way some people work.
Yeah.
Like if I think about Michael Jordan, I don't know if you saw his documentary, or even like Kanye West, or a bunch of people who are incredibly good at their craft. And sometimes I remember, like when I first flew out to be with you in Madeira like last year, I sometimes like saw that in you when you were working and you just got so locked in and focused on whatever you were doing. It almost looked like that you are kind of channeling like a higher energy or whatever into the certain task. And I personally still struggle with this a lot, to kind of put my everything and all my energy into just one thing and stay focused on that for a while. So do you do you have any tips on how one can get into that state, and keep that state of that insane focus channeling into whatever it is that they want to do? Or is it just something that is not really like explainable in words? It's more of like a rare phenomenon, or something that some people have and others don't. Like, what do you think about this? And have you personally noticed this thing happening with other people and yourself as well?
Mm-hmm. It's a really good question. It's really difficult to answer. I want to be really honest. Like I have a mild kind of like ADHD. Like when I was younger, my mom took me to the doctor and they said it's like not hitting the threshold. So I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I don't need to take medication, but it's obviously there, right? Like you smile because you know it.
Mm.
And the interesting thing when I started researching this is that my mind could be like scattered. Like I'm just like, oh, water, this, that, and then it's just like I'm just all over the place. But at the same time, I have these moments when I'm like more logged in. So it's like sometimes I'm just like all over the place. But with ADHD, people have this tendency to like be able to like I can't switch tasks. Also, like sometimes it's really hard for me to switch tasks, and that's why I sometimes work too much. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just not realizing I should stop. I'm just like hooked in. And so that is definitely an element which you can't, like, if you don't have that, like, and there are like pros and cons to it. What I did is once I like realized this is what's going on with me, I embrace the positives and I try to build systems around the negatives. And this is my advice then, like figure out how your mind works, like try really like journal when you don't like working, when you like working, when you had a good productive session, what are the things you did, why do you do things you do, like all those kind of things. I do a lot of self-development, a lot of journaling, all these kind of things. And to me, these are my findings was, and I tell you what my finding was and how I solved, or what systems I built around it. My finding was YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, newsfeed, extremely dangerous because I'm like mild ADHD. Like I'm looking for information all the time, and then like it just takes me away. Like just 3 hours down, I just don't even know what I was doing, and then I'm like exhausted, and I can't get back to work because my brain is messed up with dopamine. So cut them. Like I realized I need to cut all those, right? And from there, I started to become more and more focused because I have like less stimuli around me. Couldn't do many things. Like I just
Mm.
took everything away. That's the first thing. I think the second one really is test and learn, like trial and error. Like you know me, I try many things, and so because I try so many things fast, then I kind of know what I want to do. So it's like I'm not really like hesitant. It's like hard to show me things that makes me hesitant because I just kind of like, I try that, try this. I know what this is where I want to go. So it's like easier to focus when you know that. But to get there, you have to like have that phase when you try like a bunch of things.
Mm.
When I try something new, I usually try a bunch of things very fast, like rapid, and then I start focusing as I find my way. And I had the third one. The third one was, it was really like how to focus, right? How to like channel that energy into what you do.
Yeah, kind of that. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like how you get into that state, or is it even something that one can consciously create?
Definitely. I would say definitely, like with journaling, like building these systems into your life, it helps. I know what I wanted to say. Also to me, it's like, because it gets too intense, I figure that I need to build like breaks into it, so like I can get out of work, and it helps me a lot. It's important, maybe if you are like, something like me. And then I think people, it's cliche, but it's purpose, like really like putting mental effort and time into trying to figure out why you do things and why do you want to do those things. Like, just if you go back and see how I explained when I was talking about like courses, coaching, and things, and how excited I get when I was telling those things, because this is my epiphany. Like I was looking at life a certain way, and then I was just like boom, like hit by this thing, and I'm like boom, and then like from there on, like, okay, so this is what I want to do, and this is the type of people I want to help, and I don't know how to do that. I'm just gonna figure out. So like that part of the equation is being solved. I'm not distracting by creating an e-com business or an Amazon FBA or a SaaS business or whatever it is. And I'm not saying those things are like not good. I'm just saying like this is what I believe in. This is how I look at life, and so this is why I help these people. Period. So I'm not getting distracted on that side. I think it's also important. I don't know if this helps. Maybe you
Yeah,
can
I think
ask
so.
in a
I
different
think
way
so.
if there is some specific information you.
I think that made sense to me, to be honest. So I think people can take that with them and kind of apply it for their own version of whatever they are trying to achieve.
Also, I think one thing, and this is I think this is the easiest. Like, it's so simple, but it's not that easy to implement. Just have to get into the habit of when you say something, you're gonna actually do it. And like, you can get all the mentors in the world and try like billion things, but it's really about you. Like, you can lie to yourself, or you can be honest to yourself. And I think connection with honesty, the more honest I'm with myself, not trying to be like someone, I'm just like being very like objective and honest, the more I'm realizing that where I need to like, be better at like saying what I do and doing what I say. I think that's the big one, because once you're like really honest, then you can like be then you're gonna realize if you're not following through what you said you're gonna do, and then you can have an honest conversation with yourself. Say, now look, Blaise, you said you're gonna do A, B, C, D, E, but you actually haven't did any of the, like, what's wrong, dude? Like, why are you not doing these? And then maybe I don't want them bad enough, and that's fine. Maybe it's just 5 is too much in the beginning, and I just need to focus on 2 or 1, or maybe these are not the right things. But have those conversations with yourself. Because I think most people just don't do that. They just like, oh, I want to do this, and then when it's not working, they're like, dude, it's just so much work. Let's try something else that's easier. Or just keep searching for something that's easier. When in reality, sometimes there is nothing. If you see,
it
if you
is
look
what
at
it
people,
is. Like, there is no easy way out. There is no easy way to be good at anything, right?
at
As
least no
cliche as
one
it
no one
sounds.
really found those, to be honest. That the easiest path is really to get someone who knows how to do that, and get them
And
help
it's
you.
still not easy. Like, don't expect hiring a mentor or whatever to make your life easy, because no, it's not going to be easy, but you will have clarity on what you need to do. And that's basically
Here's the way
part
to
of it.
think about it. Not just as you said. Let's bodybuilding. Perfect example. You want to build the best body in the world, right? And you want to be a champion. Now, you can do it on your own, and you can hire like a professional coach who's been like do this for like 12 years. Do you think you're gonna have more success with a professional course? Of course, yeah. Like, the professional coach, he's gonna help you like along the whole journey with the mindset, with all the things, not to have injuries, how to eat, like all those things. He's gonna be there for you, push you to the limits and everything. Is it gonna be easy? Of course not. Maybe it's even gonna be harder. And this is the thing, even with business coaches, yes, you join those things, and then maybe you're gonna experience this even harder than you expected. But the thing you get out of it, that's gonna be the real thing that's worthwhile pursuing. right?
Yeah. If your priorities are aligned.
Obviously, if you want to be a swimmer, don't go into the
Yeah.
gym and get a
Yeah.
bodybuilder coach. I think
Awesome.
that's also a very important one. Yeah, to have
I
the
think
sound.
it's a great point to end this podcast. Thank you for coming on to the
Thanks
podcast.
for having me, man. This
Think
is
we touched
great
a lot of
conversation.
interesting topics. So guys, anyone who's listening, like, let us know what you thought about this. Really hope you enjoyed. And if you want to hear more from Blaise, then check out his Instagram.
I have one
And
more before we leave.
Facebook.
I have
Okay.
a note. I just put down one thing over here. I just wanted to share it to the people watching. If you spend all this time watching this video and you feel like you got something out of it, you had information that you wanna make sure you take action on, or you wanna like reserve that for yourself, not forget about it. This is the way I consume information. Whenever I watch these videos, if you spend, I don't know how long this is, but if you spend all this time, it's really worth spending an extra 20 minutes or 15 minutes or however long it takes to go back for the important points and take notes. Open up a Google Doc, put in the link. That's what I do all the time. Put in the link and then take those notes under, and then put it into Trello or schedule into your phone and whatever, and reuse those 3 months later. Just so you have like an action step. To me, that helps so much. I do that all the time. I either don't watch content, or if I do watch, I spend extra time to like extract the knowledge, what I learned, and make sure I do something with that. Or else it's just brain is gonna forget. I can guarantee you that.
Totally agree with that. So yeah, if you stayed at the end, like, there's an extra tip for you, and yeah, do actually do it. Yeah. So yeah, thanks everyone for listening for us for this long. If you want to hear more from Blaise, then definitely give him a follow on Instagram at Blaise Bowley, or check out his YouTube channel as well. I will leave the links for all his stuff there. And yeah, if you want to work with him personally, then I would say probably those are still the best places to go, and then just shoot him a message, right?
Yeah, just hit me up on Instagram, probably. That's the easiest.
Awesome. So thanks for listening, everyone, and hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace.